everything's always going to be 7 years. It could be 10 years, could be 5, but 7 is a good number for me. Before that, it was whoever was most upset. We seemed to, whoever would make somebody here cry, that's whose stone we would make. It was never-ending stressful. So we've got the state broke out into 18 different routes. Those 18 different routes became 3 different colors. So we've got purple, orange, and yellow. So every 3 weeks we go into whatever's in purple. So it's wherever the stone is sold at dictates where it goes in the schedule. So when we have the granite and the approval, it can be scheduled into the next available rotation. And what we mean by available is 2 years ago, the plant had never missed a scheduled production. They can do about 600 square feet a week, which is 30 stones a day on average, and they never missed one until 2 weeks ago. So there's been a combination of things, but our workload has quadrupled. The time frames of getting materials in has quadrupled. Last Wednesday we got stock in from last June, and then this Friday we're waiting for an order from last March, so it's a year old already before we even get the granite. So we make sure we're leaving room in the schedule for those older orders as they come in, but if they don't show up, we will pull stuff back from the next one. So if you see your numbers, like you got an order and it says April, our goal is you're going to see it say March, not May. Like, we don't ever want it to go out farther, but we're trying to put a realistic date on it. But if we have room, we're going to bring it back in and make it. We always want to be maxed out with how much we can produce. So our workforce they've gotten a lot more efficient. We've added 2 plant people. We're trying to add another one yet to come, meet the volume that's coming through here. But it's a slow process. Good help is hard to find, as they say. Another issue that we've been dealing with, I think you guys have seen the videos about stencil. So about when COVID started, we couldn't get dust masks. Everybody wanted the N95s, everything. But we actually needed those for production, so that made us think, crap, I didn't think this was going to affect us that way, but it did. So we started trying to bulk up on supplies. We normally would have as minimal inventory as possible. I think like a lot of places went to just get rid of the warehouse, let somebody else store it. We built up about a year's worth of everything. And that means our like $30,000 worth of manufacturing. This is just like abrasive and stencil and paints, whatever. There's a lot of stuff, but we brought that from like $30,000 to $150,000 worth of stuff we keep on hand. We have more than our suppliers have. Hide it from them, don't let them know we have it. But it turns out that stencil ended up being an issue. In October, 3M announced they weren't making it anymore, and that's the only stuff we used. We didn't buy from anybody else because we liked their stuff. So now we don't have connections with anybody. We don't have any favors to call in because all of our stuff is with 3M. But thankfully we had enough bought at that time and stored here. It still became a trickle where we would get 5 rolls in a week, maybe. But we started buying it off Amazon, off Facebook, anywhere we could, trying different stuff to find an alternative to it. We started converting a lot of it to our precision graphics so we could save on stencil to keep producing things. And we actually started importing our own stencils. So we've thankfully had enough buying power to do all of those things where other monument companies, even our some lettering accounts and stuff, they haven't had any stencils since June of last year. So there was somebody last week digging through our scrap bin and
digging for it. Just to make date cuts.
Yes, and I didn't want to give it to him. That's how hard that stuff is to come by.
It's gold.
Right. And it's apparently not going to get any better. They said still it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I'm confident we're going to keep producing no matter what, and we've been able to do that. Thankfully, we've had enough stuff to keep producing. We can convert things. Our designs might end up changing, if they never made stencil again, which they are, but we know we would get through it. We would just have to do it a little bit differently than before, but we're always going to be able to produce monuments for families. So our shipment from China is supposed to be here next week. Cross our fingers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stuff we never used to get excited over.
Yeah. Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, it's kind of put everybody, I think, I almost feel like post-depression mode. And we've done the same thing with granite. Granite was hard to get, slow to get. We have more granite in that yard now than we've had 3 years combined. Our inventory has gone up a lot. And we don't have room for it even, but we know we need it because if we don't get it now, we don't know when it's going to show up again. Yeah, you guys are gonna be outside for a while, so you take the clothes off. Maybe like an hour.
Was that the tropical green one from March?
I don't know, you emailed me about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the one. Yep.
Do you guys all look at your stones, the schedule and everything, watch that?
Like
Yes.
You do.
Like it's like Monday
Yeah.
morning.
Monday morning.
Yes.
I lay in bed hoping Dawn hits it up at 6.
She's not kidding.
I'm not kidding.
No.
6:05, you call him.
Yeah.
No, I just keep
We're
looking.
5 minutes, 30
Haven't
seconds.
seen it yet.
Yeah, too.